Hello and welcome to Shaping Perspectives, Struggles and Successes. This is a Zoom cast. This is our first one, and I am here with my wonderful client Sharon, and we are going to talk to you today about some of her struggles and her successes over the past year or so, and give you a little bit of insight on the fact that we all struggle and we all can find small successes in our days if we just begin to do some of the work that it takes to kind of move through that. So I'm going to ask Sharon some questions she's going to answer, and I hope you find something out of this message and understand that you're certainly not alone in this journey. So Sharon, we did a body AA challenge, a URNF body AA challenge at Shaping Perspectives last week, and I just wanted to know what your initial thoughts were when you saw the challenge.
Well, initially, my thoughts were because I'm not your average sized overweight person. I'm 3 times the size of what the norm should be. And my initial thought was, how could I think of like participating in a body appreciation challenge as this supersized, morbidly obese woman that struggles every day with mobility issues? And in my mind, I thought people are going to think she's crazy to appreciate that and to accept it. And that I thought maybe people think I'm going to throw in the towel and I'm just, going to give up trying to get healthy or move towards a healthier lifestyle. And so I really struggled with the negative self-talk, that chatter in my head that I wasn't the size that would be appropriate to appreciate.
And you did jump into the challenge though. And what was the hardest part of it, or how'd you move through the challenge?
Well, it was like pushing past that negative thoughts. I kept telling myself that even if the negative thoughts were telling me I was too big to participate in the challenge, and part of the negative thought was like, oh, this is only applicable for chunky, just little chubby, women that don't struggle with hundreds of pounds of overweight. The hardest part was just taking the courage to be vulnerable and, trust and put myself out there and realize that there's, the great thing about it is that it's in a safe spot, that I was among people that I knew that I trusted. So this was probably, I knew the best time to take that leap of faith and try it.
Yeah. Did you find yourself come up with any resistance or uncomfortableness around it?
Yeah, I did. I struggled with back to, the initial thoughts of feeling foolish. I thought people are going to look at me and think, man, she's not in tune or self-aware. She should have enough self-awareness to know that you don't appreciate something that's 3 times its normal size and has trouble moving freely throughout the day. And I just had that, what if, they're secretly fat shaming me? And even if I never knew, it's that, I guess pride thing that you don't want somebody to look at you and say, oh, that poor little, or, that poor large woman, she's accepting herself and she never should. And I just taking the courage to resist that and be uncomfortable for the first day.
Yeah.
And realize at the end of the day, good things were coming.
And that first day was mantras and kind of starting to talk kinder and respectful towards yourself. So really starting to hit that negative self-talk right off the bat.
Right, exactly.
Where do you think the thoughts like that, the negative thoughts like that, come from?
But it's really interesting because I have taken time recently, as I've tried to move into the diet-free mentality and accepting mentality, that I started becoming overweight as a child, 10 years old. And it wasn't long before I was typically the largest or one of the largest people always in the room. And while I grew up with parents that loved me a lot, they never wanted me to be overweight. And it was kind of that unspoken and at times spoken rule that you should never accept your body as it is if you're fat.
Mm.
And that's hard when you're, 10 years old, and the shame that you feel having to go to the department store and shop in the husky section, and sometimes have to wear, clothes that you wouldn't pick and that you don't find endearing, but clothes that you have to wear them because they fit. And
Yeah.
so I think it was something that was really imprinted as a child and growing up, and it was nothing intentional. It just happened. And the feeling of uh, being shamed, fat, which I've been fortunate, like, not to have been teased, but there's times, you go to the doctor, or different times you'll feel fat shamed. For me, it's one of the biggest triggers to emotionally eat, which is kind of ironic how it works that way.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting that the one thing that is really hard for you triggers you to that's just the way we move into finding something that will take some of the pain away. Right. Yeah. What did you find of value in the body image challenge? How did it change a little bit for you?
Well, for me, it was incredibly valuable because I loved it that it built every day. It was like steps, and the steps were kind of low and long, and you could take your time going up them. You didn't have to be at the top at the beginning. And that uncomfortableness from day one, I felt the warmth that came from you during the sessions. I felt the warmth and acceptance of the Diet Free Sisterhood that I was a part of, the Support Over Success struggle, SOS group that you lead. I felt that, like, immediately, and it was so, no matter how strong the self-talk was, the very first day when I wrote in the comments section that what my mantra was going to be, and part of it I think was that I was going to thank my body for its strength, and there was something else. It really did take hold, and it's kind of just this amazing thing that even though you don't feel like intellectually that it's going to work, when you actually say the words and you do it, it does become like this self-fulfilling prophecy. And I became excited, and the next day, and by the fourth day, when I was doing the petals of worth sheet where I listed positive things about me, about myself, that were not external based, it was just so rewarding to do that, and not to feel like I was being vain or foolish about liking something about myself despite my size.
Mm. And that Petals of Worth is one of my favorite activities because it really makes you look at yourself with a different perspective. And we talk about that. You and I have talked about how we try to. That's why we're called Shaping Perspectives, right? We're trying to shift and shape your perspectives on everything and the way you look at everything, and so that you can actually see that you're much more, and every person out there is much more than just the size of their physical body.
Yeah.
Um, you mentioned the SOS group. What's it like being a part of that SOS group?
Um, I love that even though just a few months ago I met the ladies that are on the group with me, I already feel such warmth and acceptance, and that it is like this incredibly loving, safe, and non-judgmental zone. And weekly, when we are there live and we can see each other, and sometimes, when I struggle with pain and stuff like that, I'll call in, but I may not do the video part. I can move through it at a pace that allows me to feel comfortable. And it's not just once a week. During the week, people in the group will support you through emails, and it is just an amazing connection that you start to feel with individuals that, even though you've known them for a couple of months, you feel like you've known them for much, much longer, and you trust.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the greatest rewards that I get for being there, and having that space, and having everybody feel like they're not alone in this journey, and that everybody struggles, and how can we move through the struggles, and everybody succeeds. And even if we sometimes have to really look deep, we can find successes in every day if we look for them. Um, what is the best part of that group, being in that group?
For me, the best part is it is, I love it being the all women group. I love that because we all process, I think, emotions differently, and I enjoy that being all women. But I also love that you lead it as a professional that is just trained and also has personal experience with what it's like to struggle with eating and food addictions and all the different struggles that we face in life with body image and body acceptance. And you're able to do it in this way that I never feel judged. And I think one of the first times, like, I was talking to you about food and I was saying something that I had ate, and I immediately wanted to censor it. But then I was like, wait, this is Support Over Struggle. This is Annie. This is the group. I can say what I really had and not feel shame because it's just food. And I feel like that through the group, that and the empathy that is there, that it's me that's seeing the inside, the petals of worth, not the outside.
Very interesting. I like the way you put that together, that people see who you really are, right? And that's such a wonderful, wonderful gift that everybody brings all their petals together into that group. And there's some that are very similar and some that are very different, and all are very, very unique. So I really thank you for spending some time with me and sharing a little bit of your story. And I will say that we'll probably share a little bit more of Sharon's story if she's willing to share a little bit more of her story at another time. And I wish to thank you all for watching our first Shaping Perspectives Zoomcast. Anything else you want to add, Sharon, or are you good?
I'm good. And I guess I do want to add, the one thing I would really encourage, even if you're not at a point where you want to sign up for something that, might be a 6-month or longer commitment, I think just taking time to daily drop by the page and just listen. It's so, for me, helps to keep me grounded, because it can just within a second, I'll be tempted to want to fall back into the negative self-talk. And I appreciate that throughout the day, that positive influence is there for us to drop by and see and feel.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I encourage everybody to come into the Facebook group anytime they want. And we try to post all kinds of information and encouragement, and we call them little nudges. So we're trying to continue to work this and walk this journey together. So thank you very much, Sharon. If you have any questions, we are going to be starting an SOS for body image and body acceptance soon. So if that interests you, please feel free to message us at Shaping Perspectives. And I thank you, Sharon.
Thanks, Annie.
Bye. Bye.